Now, the poll out today conducted when negative ads began running about Mary Burke, her work at Trek, and the company outsourcing jobs. But who is right about how much work is done in or out of the country? News 3's Jess Garb tells us in tonight's Reality Check.
In his second attack ad on the subject, Governor Walker once again slams Mary Burke's work at her family's company without ever naming that company, Trek Bicycle.
Mary Burke is trying to sell us on her experience at her family business. But she forgot to mention that they make 99% of their bikes overseas, in places like China, where her company has outsourced jobs for years.
This needs clarification, and there's no way to tell whether it's true or false because Trek won't disclose its production data. The ad cites a 2011 article where Trek's PR manager made some estimates. He said it was almost impossible to give a number of how many bikes were made in the U.S., but that it was somewhere in the 10,000 range. He admits that most of their bikes are manufactured overseas, but when asked how many, said it was hard to say and that Trek sells around 1.5 million bikes a year. If both of those figures are accurate, it would mean 0.7% of the bikes were made here, with more than 99% of them made overseas.
They make 99% of their bikes overseas, in places like China, where her company has outsourced jobs for years.
This is true. But that's not unique to Trek. The National Bicycle Dealers Association says 99% of all bikes are made overseas. Mary Burke is using her latest ad to defend Trek.
The real story? Mary Burke helped build Trek into a company where almost 1,000 Wisconsin people go to work every day, making more bikes in the U.S. than anyone.
This needs clarification, and again, we can't prove this because Trek won't tell us exactly how many bikes it makes here. What we do know is that the National Bike Dealers estimates total U.S. bike production at only 56,000 bikes amongst about a dozen bike makers. In that 2011 interview, Trek claimed to possibly make about 10,000 of those. I'm Jessica Arp with this News 3 Reality Check.
One other claim in the governor's ad says taxpayers paid for Trek workers to be retrained. That's true. Trek workers were eligible for trade adjustment assistance during layoffs in both 2004 and 2013. Now, if you have an idea for a reality check, send it to us, realitycheck@channel3000.com.